Hello, and welcome to a journey through time as we unravel the complex history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This historical conflict, steeped in cultural, religious, and political intricacies, has shaped the Middle East as we know it today. Understanding its roots and progression is crucial to grasping the current geopolitical landscape. We'll be navigating through this intricate narrative using the comprehensive information available on the Wikipedia page linked in the description. From the early migrations and settlements through the significant events of the mid-20th century to the ongoing challenges and negotiations, we'll delve into the key moments that shaped this enduring conflict. Our goal is to provide a balanced and informative overview, fostering a deeper understanding of the complexities involved. Without further ado, let's dive into the rich and intricate past of this region. The roots of this conflict lie deep within the history of the region. The land we now know as Israel and Palestine has been the cradle of civilization, a crossroads of cultures, religions, and empires for millennia. Its geographical location at the junction of Africa, Asia, and Europe rendered it a strategic prize for conquering armies, shaping its rich and complex history. From the ancient Canaanites to the Israelites' biblical era, from Roman rule to Islamic caliphates, from Crusader kingdoms to Ottoman dominance, this land has seen a mosaic of inhabitants and rulers. Each period left its imprint, contributing to the region's diverse cultural heritage and adding layers of complexity to its historical narrative. In the late 19th century, the region witnessed significant transformations. The Zionist movement emerged in Europe, advocating for a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This was a response to centuries of persecution that culminated in the horrors of the Holocaust. At the same time, Arab nationalism was on the rise, with the local Arab population aspiring to self-determination and statehood. The Balfour Declaration of 1917 by the British government expressed support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This promise, made during the First World War, was seen by the Zionists as a significant step towards realizing their national aspirations. However, it also stirred deep resentment among the local Arab population, who saw it as a betrayal of their rights and aspirations. The British Mandate period, from 1920 to 1948, was marked by increasing tensions between the Jewish and Arab communities, leading to violent confrontations. Amidst the geopolitical maneuverings of the great powers, the aspirations of the Jewish and Arab populations were on a collision course, setting the stage for the emergence of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. These historical events set the stage for the emergence of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. To fully comprehend this conflict, we need to go back to its origins. The roots of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict trace back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a time marked by significant migrations and settlements. Jewish people facing persecution and seeking a homeland began migrating to Palestine, then an area under Ottoman rule. Concurrently, the indigenous Arab population also had deep-seated ties to this land, setting the stage for a territorial dispute. The early 20th century witnessed two pivotal events that profoundly shaped the future of this region. The first was the Balfour Declaration of 1917, a letter from Britain's Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to Lord Rothschild, a leader of the British Jewish community. In this letter, Balfour expressed Britain's support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, while also stating that nothing should prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities. The second significant event was the British Mandate for Palestine, established by the League of Nations in 1922. The mandate incorporated the text of the Balfour Declaration and tasked Britain with implementing it. However, the vagueness of the term national home and the dual commitment to both Jewish and Arab communities led to increasing tensions and conflict between the two groups. In essence, the early history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a complex tapestry, woven from threads of migration, settlement, and geopolitical maneuvering. The Balfour Declaration and the British Mandate, while aiming to resolve the Jewish question in Europe, inadvertently sowed the seeds of a protracted conflict in Palestine. These early events and decisions significantly influenced the course of the conflict, and their echoes continue to reverberate in the ongoing dialogue and debates surrounding this issue. The year 1947 marked a pivotal point in this ongoing conflict. As the wounds of the Second World War were still fresh, the United Nations made a decisive move to address the Israeli-Palestinian issue. This resulted in the UN Partition Plan, a proposal to divide the land into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem under international administration. However, the plan was met with resistance, particularly from the Arab nations who viewed it as a violation of their rights. This led to a series of violent outbreaks, setting the stage for what would be known as the War of Independence, or the Nakba, meaning catastrophe, from the Palestinian perspective. This war, fought from 1947 to 1949, was a tumultuous period marked by fierce battles and strategic maneuvers. On one side, the newly declared State of Israel, supported by the Jewish community worldwide, sought to establish its sovereignty. On the other side, a coalition of Arab states, driven by a sense of solidarity with the Palestinian Arabs, aimed to thwart the partition plan and establish a unified Arab state. The war ended with Israel expanding its territory beyond the proposed partition plan, leaving the Palestinians with less land than originally allocated. This outcome led to a massive displacement of people, with both Jews and Arabs forced to leave their homes. It also set the stage for future conflicts, as the fundamental issues remained unresolved. The outcomes of the War of Independence had a profound impact on the region. It not only redrew the map, but also deepened the divide between the Israelis and Palestinians. This period in history serves as a stark reminder of the complexities involved in the quest for peace and justice in this part of the world. In the aftermath of the war, the region underwent significant changes. The landscape of the Middle East was dramatically altered, with Israel emerging as a new nation-state on the world stage. The birth of Israel was greeted with mixed reactions. On one hand, it was seen as a haven for the Jewish people who had suffered immensely during the Second World War. On the other hand, it was viewed as an imposition on the Arab inhabitants of Palestine, leading to a deep-seated resentment that continues to this day. The neighboring Arab countries, including Egypt, Jordan, Syria and Lebanon, found themselves grappling with the reality of a Jewish state in their midst. Tensions ran high, and the seeds of future conflicts were sown. This period also saw the rise of pan-Arab nationalism, as these nations sought to assert their collective identity and sovereignty in the face of perceived external threats. One of the most poignant aspects of this era was the refugee crisis. The war had displaced hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from their homes. Many fled to neighboring countries where they were housed in refugee camps. The plight of these refugees added a humanitarian dimension to the conflict, one that has had far-reaching implications over the years. The refugees' desire to return to their homes, combined with the Israeli government's refusal to allow this, has been a persistent source of tension. The issue of the right of return for Palestinian refugees remains one of the most contentious points in the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Meanwhile, Israel, now a recognized sovereign state, sought to strengthen its position both domestically and internationally. It worked to build its economy, military, and infrastructure, while also dealing with the challenges posed by the influx of Jewish immigrants from around the world. These developments further complicated the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The post-1949 period set the stage for future events, shaping the trajectory of this intricate tangle of politics, religion and human rights that continues to impact the region and the world today. The Six-Day War was another critical juncture in the history of the conflict. It erupted in June 1967 when Israel launched a preemptive strike against Egypt, Syria and Jordan. The war's outcome significantly altered the regional landscape. Israel seized the Gaza Strip and the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt, the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Jordan, and the Golan Heights from Syria. This territorial expansion ignited further tension and conflict in the region. In the years that followed, there were numerous attempts at peace, including the Camp David Accords and the Oslo Accords. but each attempt was met with varying degrees of success and failure, often marred by bouts of violence and political instability. The intifadas or uprisings, the Lebanon War, and the ongoing conflict in Gaza are stark reminders of the volatile nature of this enduring dispute. Despite these events, the quest for a peaceful resolution continues. Today, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains a pressing global issue. Despite numerous attempts at peace negotiations, a definitive resolution still evades us. The region remains marked by periods of relative calm, punctuated by flare-ups of violence and unrest. Each side of the conflict faces its unique challenges. For Israelis, concerns about security and the right to a sovereign nation persist. Palestinians, on the other hand, continue to grapple with issues related to statehood, territorial control, and the right to return for refugees. Efforts towards peace are ongoing. International mediation, bilateral talks, and grassroots initiatives all play a part in this complex puzzle. Yet the road ahead is fraught with political, religious, and social hurdles that need to be overcome. The importance of finding a peaceful resolution cannot be overstated. It's about more than just ending a conflict. It's about building a future where two peoples can coexist, each with their dignity and rights intact. The path to peace is complex, but understanding the history can help illuminate the way forward. We've journeyed through centuries of history to better understand the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We've traced the roots of this complex issue back to early migrations and settlements, through the pivotal moments of the Balfour Declaration, the British Mandate, and the War of Independence. We've seen the formation of Israel, the refugee crisis, and the subsequent wars and peace efforts that have shaped the region's current state. The importance of understanding this history cannot be overstated. It's not just about the past, but about how the past influences the present and the future. By unraveling the intricacies of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, we can better comprehend the challenges that face the region today, and hopefully contribute to finding a peaceful resolution. We encourage you to continue exploring this topic. Delve deeper into the Wikipedia page, read books, watch documentaries, and engage in thoughtful discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Remember, understanding history is the first step towards creating a better future.